the 2024 offseason is going to be one that comes with a lot of changes for the Washington football franchise. They already have a new head coach. They're going to probably have a new quarterback. A bunch of new players are going to be coming in. And also, we might have a brand new team name and mascot for the Washington football franchise this year. Josh Harris and a bunch of the minority owners have talked about potentially changing the name and branding if the fans wanted a change. And it certainly seems to me, based on everything that I've experienced with this fan base, that we do not like the name Washington Commanders. So today, we're going to be breaking down the betting favorites to be the next Washington team name. So before we get into today's list, make sure you guys get down there into the comment section and let me know. Should Washington change their name this offseason, or should they just stick with Commanders? Type yes if you want to change. Type no if you don't. So now the betting favorite to be the next team name for the Washington football franchise is to go back to the Washington football team at 5-1 odds, which is pretty interesting to me. I mean, I liked Washington football team better than Commanders. Commanders is such a lame name, in my opinion. But honestly, football team is kind of lame too. I mean, I get that's why some people like it. It's kind of unique. You don't really see it in American sports or teams do this. But at the end of the day, man, I just think it's too weird, a little bit too lame. I think they should go get something else. So let's go over the betting odds favorites here. Numbers 2 through 6. Washington Spartans is at number 2. That one's kind of odd to me, 8-1. Then there's 3 that are tied with 10-1 odds with the Washington Armada. Producer Coop actually likes that one quite a bit. The Washington Magicians, which would be so lame, it would be kind of funny, at 10-1. And then the Washington Red Hogs are at 10-1 as well. And then the Washington Presidents is sitting at 11-1. I don't really love that one, to be honest. I don't know what the logo would be with that, like a photo of like a photo of Trump and like the old like Redskins logo. Would that be what it looks like, producer? I don't know. That'd be ridiculously funny. But I just don't know what the logo would be for that one. Then we get to a bunch of them here that are tied with 12-1 betting odds. Washington Ambassadors, Washington Brigade, Washington DCs. That one might be the lamest name I have ever heard in the history of team names in my existence. Then we got Washington Defenders. That one reminds me too much of Commanders and Guardians. Not good whatsoever. Might as well not change the name if you're going to Defenders. And then you got Red Tails, a decent one there. Washington Senators is a pretty decent one. Washington Sentinels? I don't even know what a sentinel is, producer Coop. And then we got Washington Red Wolves, which is an interesting one to me. Now, coming up, I got my top 5 team names. I'm going to be breaking down my top 5 list of what team names I would like to see come to Washington, and I'll give you some reasons why. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Fanatics. And listen, we just hired our new brand new head coach here in Dan Quinn. And as everybody knows, he likes to wear his backwards baseball cap, all right? So if you want to rock the Dan Quinn look this upcoming season, you're going to need a nice Washington Commanders or Washington whatever they're going to be next year ball cap. So you can get one right today from our friends at Fanatics when you go to chatsports.com/DQ to rock that Dan Quinn look on Sundays during the 2024 NFL season. Go to chatsports.com/DQ. They have it on sale right now, so make sure you get yours before they're all gone. Again, that's chatsports.com/DQ to rock the Dan Quinn look during the 2024 season. So now let's get into my top 5 team names for the Washington football franchise. Now, before I start with my top 5 list, all right, guys, Redskins is not going to be on the list, all right? I know a lot of you guys really, really want them to go back to Redskins, and I understand the reasons why, all right? When this team was winning, the memories were all of this team being the name the Redskins, okay? I understand all of that, the history, the culture with this franchise. But I just think it's time to move past all this. Let's start something fresh here. Let's start something new, and let's do it with something not named Commanders, all right? So let's start with number 5 here. And I think Washington Senators would be pretty decent, all right? Obviously, the Senators name connects with Washington, D.C., and actually, this would be kind of a nice move because Washington would be going to a team that used to be a baseball team there in Washington. The Washington Senators, with Walter Johnson and all these different guys that used to play MLB baseball with the Washington Senators. Of course, they became the Minnesota Twins. And then the Texas Rangers, absolutely. And they wouldn't be the first professional football team to do this, to name their football team after a baseball team. The New York Giants used to be a baseball club. They were a baseball club before they became a football team. That's why they're called the New York Football Giants. because before that, it was the New York Baseball Giants. So if you wanted to go Washington Senators, maybe even bring back their old logo, that would be certainly interesting to me. Number 4, Washington Red Hogs. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the branding would look like with this one. I think you could probably get creative, but I think that the idea of the hog, all right, that is just embedded into this fan base's culture. I mean, if you go to FedEx Field and you go to a Washington football game, you're going to see people in pig noses. You're going to see people embracing that hog mentality. So, I mean, if you want something that kind of transitions but still leans into the team's history, I absolutely think Red Hogs is one of those that would certainly do that. Then something, producer Coop doesn't like this one as much as I do, but I like the alliteration of Washington Warriors. You can still kind of honor Native American heritage and history and all these different things by referring to them as warriors, right? You could still do a lot of the similar things that you see from other teams around American professional sports that still have Native American type things associated with their football clubs. And it would certainly bring back some of the culture of this football team as well. Number 2, in the same vein, the Washington Braves. All right, you could still do a lot of the similar things. You could do almost like the Florida State Seminoles helmet, with the spear. You could do something along those lines that still respects a Native American culture and still brings this football team back to that kind. Coop's doing the chop. I'm not sure if we could do that. The Chiefs kind of have that one locked down, but I would certainly like to see something along those lines to kind of honor that type of culture that we've had here in Washington for such a long time. Then number 1, I would love the Washington Red Hawks, okay? This would be my number 1 choice, okay, because you could still have the feather on the helmet. And tell me that this helmet and this design for the logo wouldn't be freaking sweet. You got the R on there, you got the arrow, you've got the feathers on there. It looks like Washington football. All right, that's what I want. Okay, Washington Commanders, it's just so generic. It doesn't really go back to anything that this team has been in the past. This one right here with this helmet, I think this would be absolutely sweet. I think with this logo, with these uniforms, with this kind of branding, I think we could get back to our winning ways here in Washington, and I think that Super Bowl trophies would come back immediately when we change to the Washington Red Hawks. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, what is your preferred choice for the next team name here in Washington? I know I'm going to see some Redskins down there in the comments section, but let me know. Please try to pick something other than Redskins, all right? Let's try to go something different here. Do me a favor right now. Get down there in the comments section and let me know what you want for the next team name here in Washington. All right, if you made it to the end of today's show, make sure you type real one down there in the comment section. Usually we talk more football on the show than we did today, but today we had a little bit of fun with the new team name potentially coming this offseason. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me here. Once we get into the new week, we're going to be going over Senior Bowl winners and losers. We're going to be talking about the latest news and rumors surrounding Dan Quinn and the staff that he's building. All these different stuff. It's going to be happening this week, so make sure you guys click that subscribe button for me right now for nonstop Commanders coverage all throughout this massive 2024 offseason.